She sits up in her hospital bed, takes off her socks, and starts singing. She's singing Intentions by Justin Bieber. The lyrics go, picture perfect, you don't need no filter, gorgeous, make him drop dead, you're a killer, shower you with all my attention, yeah, these are my only intentions. I have school tomorrow. How do I get my car here tomorrow?
Well, your car is totaled.
It's what?
Your car is totaled. Total wrecked.
Okay, so how do I get to school tomorrow? You don't. So I don't go to school tomorrow? Is that what you're telling me? No, ma'am. You want me to be honest with you? You're going to jail. You don't have a bond. You killed 2 people tonight. That's what's going on. So yeah, no, you're not going to school tomorrow. That man filming is a police officer. This is the case of Stephanie Malgoza, the college student who killed 2 people and proceeded to complain the whole time of how this could happen to her. She would ask about emailing her professor and sing songs at the crime scene. 10:16 p.m., authorities are called to the scene on 2208 Main Street in front of a bar called Full Throttle. There's been an accident. Right when they get there, they see this Dodge dark car parked in the middle of the road. It's red, and there's pretty substantial damage to the front of it. There's this massive large dent to the front hood. There seems to be what appears to be splatter. A girl named Stephanie Malgoza is standing off to the side, and she seems relatively uninjured and honestly not even in a state of shock. The officers approach her and she tells them, I called as soon as this happened. I go to Bradley, the university nearby. It's actually a top-ranked private university. The officer asks her if anyone took her information and she starts pointing at him. Her finger is pretty close to his chest. Your friend took my license. Your friend took my license.
Were you leaving the bar? Were you coming down the road?
I was coming here.
Okay.
You know, I had just gotten my night started.
Do you have anything illegal on you? Yes, I have my purse. He has her put her purse on the hood of the cop car, and she's still holding some items in her hands. He asks her to put them down, and she says, my vape too? She later asks, I graduated in 4 weeks. Is this going to affect anything? She gets a full pat down before they put her in the backseat of the cop car. And the police, they don't want to ask her more questions right now. Right now, their priority are the 2 people. Because near that red car, that's Stephanie's car, there are 2 people laying covered in dead on the ground near the car. There is a woman laying about 30 feet from the red car, which is quite far. But her leg, part of her leg has been completely and is attached to the front of Stephanie's vehicle. It's stuck on the front bumper of the car, sticking out the front grille. There's another man laying about 90 feet from the car, and the officers are seen trying to perform CPR on their bodies, but they're not moving.
And she knew that.
Yeah, she's at the crime scene. She sees this.
And
she sees the 2 people.
Acting completely
She's
unfazed.
I called 911 right when it happened. Paul Prowant and Andrea Rosewitz, they had been at the Full Throttle bar. And since they had a drink or 2, they wanted to be safe. They started walking back home. It's not that dangerous of a road until Stephanie Malgoza starts driving. And it's very clear from the get-go that she is so intoxicated. She tries to make it seem like she was heading to the bar. She's heading to Full Throttle to, quote, get her night started. But the officer, they read her Miranda rights and ask her, are you open to explaining what just happened? And she's sitting in the back seat of this police car at the scene. And she's like, yeah, I was coming to the Full Throttle and I was almost here, as you can see. Were you driving this way or that way? I was coming here, and suddenly one person walked out in front of me and my car got hit. And I called you as soon as I got hit. And then someone said, oh, someone else is hit. And I was like, oh my God, how did that happen? Okay, so what happened when you hit that one person? I just called you. That's all I know. I called you. Did they fall down right away, or did you get out and help them? What happened? I got out, I called you, and then everyone else came out. So I just kind of let them come and take the situation over.
Honestly, don't think I was going too fast because I try to be precautionary about where I'm at.
Okay.
But I just know that one person came out of nowhere.
Did you have your headlights on?
Yes, sir.
Brights on or just regular headlights?
Regular.
Okay.
So obviously you saw them and there was no time to react.
No time.
Okay.
That's the word.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, so where were you coming from? I was coming from Tavern 41 on Sterling Avenue. Tavern 31. 41. And you left Tavern 41 and drove straight here. Yes, sir. Over the course of the night, how much of you had to drink? I probably had 3 drinks. How long ago was your last drink, if you had to say? About 40 minutes. So about 40 minutes ago, you were drinking and then you drove. Were you drinking while you were in the vehicle, or was this the last drink at the bar? At the bar. The police do an eyesight coordination test, but she's smiling and giggling because it's hard not to move her head, and she's following the light with her eyes. At one point, she even grabs hold of her face with both of her hands. She states the eye test is so hard, she would rather just walk in a straight line for them. It's likely that she knew that this was going to trip her because the minute that she does a few feet in front of the other, she just stops, puts her feet right next to each other. And then she's like, oh, let me try again. She acts confused on, wait, what were the instructions again? Then she's told to balance on one leg. She can barely keep her balance.
Take a deep breath, long, hard, steady blow.
And then she giggles before blowing into the test. The other police officers standing on the side, they look so done with her. Likely, these are the same officers that were just performing CPR on the 2 bodies on the side of the road. And now they're watching her making this seemingly joke. Both Paul and his girlfriend Andrea were found deceased at the scene. It was clear that they weren't going to make it. One officer report reads, Andrea's left leg had been completely below the knee. She had a deep laceration to the inside of her right thigh. I observed that her right forearm and wrist were completely broken. She had draining out of her left ear. As for Paul, another officer wrote in his incident report, I observed that he was missing his right leg below the knee. He was not alert and had coming from his mouth. I felt a weak pulse and began CPR. My squad started to cordon off the crime scene, and a short time later, I observed the firefighters placing sheets over both the victims. The officer asked the bartender of the bar because at this point, all the bartenders, all the bar patrons had run out. They had heard this massive crash. So they're figuring out what's going on. The officer asked the bartender if the victims drove to the bar. She points at an SUV in the parking lot. She believed that was theirs, which it was confirmed to be theirs, indicating they didn't want to endanger anyone by driving because they had something to do. So they left on foot. They did the right thing. They did the safest thing for themselves and for others on the road. But Stephanie Malgoza did not. They did everything right and they were still killed. Another officer notes that while at the crime scene, Stephanie was just standing off to the side, just watching while people perform CPR on the victims. When the authorities are getting her ready to be taken to the hospital, Stephanie Malgoza starts talking again. Can I ask you a question? I have an 8 a.m. tomorrow at Bradley. An 8 a.m. class. Will I be able to make it or should I email my professor? The officer just ignores her and starts driving, at which point you can kind of hear her mumbling and singing in the back, and it sounds like she's asking the officer to sing tunes. He responds, sing tunes? I don't think it's the appropriate time to sing tunes right now. He just tells her that they're going to go to St. Francis, the hospital, to do a ton of paperwork, to which she responds, I have an internship there next summer. Clearly, she's not aware that she's likely going to be in prison next summer. Eventually, they tell her, you understand what we're going to do. First off, I'm going to let you know that you did hit 2 people total. I did not. You did. I didn't. Purposefully. Okay, well, however you want to word it yourself, that's fine. I'm just telling you, there's 2 people struck by your vehicle and both are dead. I did not hit them.
I did not hit
Okay.
people. I can tell you right now.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you the 2 people that hit your
Why would I
car.
call
Ma'am, listen.
911 if I...
2 people struck your vehicle, so I'm telling you, and they're both deceased on scene. I'm just telling you that information, okay? We're going to go in here. We're going to do the thing. I appreciate you being cooperative so far. I got to tell you what's going on.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So when they get into the hospital room, it's just Stephanie Malgoza and the police officer inside the room. And she starts rambling about how excited she is about going to Vegas. She literally says, I'm going to Vegas. It's going to be so much fun. He ignores her and he keeps using his phone, to which she says,
I swear to God, if you're Snapchatting right now and I'm not, I'm going to be mad.
Crazy.
According to a few officers, she kept asking for her phone because she needed to Snapchat her friends, and she kept stating this is the longest she's ever gone without Snapchatting her friends. Later, she gets escorted into a bigger hospital room and she's laying on the hospital bed. This is when she starts singing Justin Bieber songs and keeps asking the officer about when she's going to get her car back because she has classes tomorrow. She rolls her eyes, leans back down to lay down on the hospital bed, and the man tells her, "You could care less about killing 2 people tonight. That's sad. You're pathetic and horrible all at the same time." And he was so composed throughout this whole situation. And she turns to him, laying down, and says, "Can you say that as a cop?"
What?
"Yes, ma'am, I can." For a second, she's laying there rather quietly. Well, quietly for her. So I thought maybe she's done now, right? But she continues. "Oh my God. I can't wait to join the DUI club. All my coworkers have them. Oh my God, all of them have them. They're going to be like, oh my God, I got to text them."
She calls it a DUI club.
Yeah.
Like, she's so excited and
Yes.
happy.
The officer reports that throughout the night, she kept asking for her phone so that she could text her friends that she finally joined the DUI club. Finally, she sits up at the edge of the hospital bed, still talking to I don't know who. "It's okay though, because they're taking me to Vegas for my birthday in 2 months. That'll be fun. We just can't wait. It'll be like partying."
How old is she turning?
She's 24, so I assume she's turning, 25 maybe, yeah.
Wow.
And then she starts singing again. She was charged with failure to reduce speed to avoid an accident, possession of in a motor vehicle, and aggravated reckless driving resulting in death, as well as aggravated DUI resulting in death. I mean, essentially, she went to a bar, got very drunk, and then had a giant bottle of Tito's in her car, and presumably was drinking while driving, literally, and then hit them. I think that she just didn't see them because she was so... At one point, she starts dancing in the backseat in a way that I can only describe as intense dancing. She also asks the officer while he's driving, "Can I hit my pen, please? Oh, that's all I want." He tells her no, and she goes, "Fine, I'll just pretend." She pretends to suck in air like she's using a pen. It's the most ridiculous footage I've seen in a really long time. And she comments, "Feels the same, honestly." She has pled guilty to all her charges, and she was sentenced to 14 years in prison. She is 24 years old. She said in court, "I'm so sorry for everything, and I'll never ever commit anything like that again. I have not drank since that day. I do not plan on drinking ever again. I want to try and do something positive to make a difference." Then Stephanie Malgoza turned to Paul and Andrea's family and said, "I never meant to hurt anyone. I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused. I will not forget them, and I will live with this every day." One of Paul and Andrea's family members stated, "You have destroyed multiple families with your selfishness. You have zero consideration for others. It was her decision to drive, and she should be held accountable because you chose to drink, you chose to get and then drive. Our friends and family have a sentence of daily pain and grief that grows greater each and every day. But most importantly, Paul and Andrea have lost their lives. Such precious gifts lost forever. She has to serve at least 85% of her 14-year sentence, meaning she could get out in 11 and a half years.
She won't even be 40. She's still in her 30s.
Yes. But not only that, it gets worse. She ends up still receiving her diploma from Bradley University. Everybody was so upset. At first, everyone thought that she would even be walking at the graduation because she was out on bail. And there was such a huge uproar. Students were threatening to not show up. It was really bad. She was eventually banned from walking, but she still received her degree. The even more unhinged part is some people actually defend her online. It's alleged that while out on bail before her sentencing, Stephanie Malgoza got married to her boyfriend and got pregnant.
Wait. Oh, how? Why?
She gets arrested. I think she had $150,000 bail, so she paid $15,000 of it, got out, awaiting the sentencing, and within that few months span, she got married and then got pregnant and then had a gender reveal. So as of right now, she is in jail for the next 11 years, hopefully 14. The next case starts unraveling June 27th of this year. So this is very recent because it takes just 4 minutes to ruin Linton Wyrick's entire relationship. 4 minutes. His relationship is practically over. 4 minutes, and now Linton's girlfriend is in the hospital, concerned that all of this stress of her relationship being ruined is going to harm their baby because she has been carrying Linton's baby for the past 7 months. Linton is this fitness online coach, quote, personal trainer and musician. That's his bio, okay? And he's usually an okay guy, kind of. Not really. He does have a bit of a criminal history for dangerous driving, assaulting a police officer, breaking into a residential home and stealing $82,000 worth of luxury goods. Literally, he took a suitcase nearby, started piling up all the jewelry and handbags that he could find in this homeowner's safe. But other than that, he is generally an okay guy. Sure, maybe. That's what they say. To each their own, right? But this time, these 4 minutes have taken it too far. When she, the girlfriend, finally sees Linton again for the first time, everyone that saw this weird, awkward gathering said she was walking in towards him in a blind fury. All she could see was probably red. Everyone had seen the video. He's caught on video cheating on her. And this 4-minute video is as bad as it gets. It shows Linton standing up while a woman is in front of him, down on her knees, performing things on his body parts. Then she gets up and starts making out with him. Now, the strangest part is this video is not filmed with the camera on a tripod. Someone is holding the camera, walking around getting better angles. At one point, the cameraman even turns the camera to himself to show himself appears to be a He comments, "This is a movie, innit?" While he films the woman getting up, making out, and then they start performing the full-on intimate act. Linton continues by grabbing the woman in the video by her neck. He's got both his hands around her neck, and then he starts kissing her neck, and the cameraman is rushing to get a better angle, and he comments, "Guys, we've made history. This is what I'm telling you." Then he gets the camera right up in her face, where it's clear that both the participants, Linton and this girl, this woman, know that they're being filmed. But they're so engrossed in the dirty deed that they don't even seem to care. Even though Linton has a pregnant girlfriend back at home. Nobody cares. Linton has his hands around her neck, and when they hear someone trying to come in, the cameraman slams the door shut again and says, give me a minute, just 1 second. And the cameraman proceeds to place his hand over this woman's mouth to keep her quiet. It's a very weird dynamic. And the worst part of all of this is the woman he's having relations with in this clip had gone viral before. She was one of the couples from this British reality TV show called The Open House Great Experiment. The show is supposed to be about exploring what it's like to be in a non-monogamous relationship, where a bunch of couples in open relationships or couples wanting to try open relationships are sent to this luxury retreat where they're free to explore with other couples. It's a show about swinging and multiplayer activities under the disguise of wanting to appear very open-minded. I do think that a lot of people can have great, healthy, open relationships. I don't think that's the problem, but apparently the show did not handle it well. There were clearly couples and people that were insecure and did not feel good about what was happening. The girl in the video, the one that's having intimate relations with Linton, she was one of the 15 on the reality show.
Wow.
Her name is Linda de Souza Abreu, and she was on the show last year with her husband Nathan. So she's married. And she said, monogamy is a social construct that should be dismantled. Opening up our relationship has allowed us to form a deeper connection with each other. Now, like I said, a lot can happen in 4 minutes. Linton is sitting down at one point and Linda is all over him, and the cameraman is just sitting directly in front of them, perhaps 2 feet away, filming, turning the camera on him to say, "This is a movie, innit? Gangsters. You know you're a gangster, right?" He's talking to Linton. "No one's coming through that door, bro. I will fight them. No one's coming. Do your thing, bro." There's a giant bottle of baby oil on the table next to them. And he keeps saying, "You know we are family. This is how we live at Wandsworth."
What?
Wandsworth. Wandsworth, as in HMP Wandsworth, Britain's second largest prison located in South London. Linton is an inmate. The cameraman is his cellmate. And Linda, the woman that Linton is having sex with, is a prison guard. In the video, you can hear her radio turn on and you can make out some of the words. All stations, activity patrols. She's supposed to be guarding the inmates. Instead, she is in their cell having intimate relations with one while his cellmate records it on a phone that's been illegally smuggled into the prison. Some portions of the video are described as the woman's white prison blouse is visible and her belt, which usually contains handcuffs, a baton, and pepper spray to control the inmates, is bouncing up and down her waist. Linda is a Portuguese national living in London. She recently started working as a prison guard. earlier this year, so a few months ago. Honestly, nobody in her family even knew that she wanted to be a prison guard. It just came out of nowhere. She went from being a personal trainer to going on this reality show, The Open House, and now she decides, hey, I'm gonna go inside one of the most understaffed, overpopulated prisons in South London. She starts her OnlyFans. Her username was allegedly Linda from the Playroom. Or she said you could call her La Madre, the mother. Her bio allegedly read, before the account went private, happily married sexy Latina that wants to share hot content with you. We believe in authenticity. All our content will be genuine and we will never fake it because we want you to enjoy watching it as much as we enjoy making it. Which begs the question of, did she do all of this to promote her OnlyFans account? She tried to leave the country immediately after the video starts going viral. She took her passport, drove to Heathrow, and tried to fly into Madrid.
Wait. So the video was taken by the cellmate.
And he posted it on social media. And at first, it went viral in the prisons because everybody has an illegally smuggled phone. Yeah.
So she is okay with that. She knew this was taken. And she knew this was getting posted.
The suspicion here is that she thought it would leak and her name would be everywhere and she could capitalize on it. But I think she discovered very quickly that she broke laws and she was going to get arrested.
She didn't know she was breaking laws.
I guess not. That seems to be the case. That's the only thing that makes sense for a lot of netizens, that she wanted to do this to make a lot of money to promote her OnlyFans is the theory. But then once it's done, she realized she broke a bunch of laws. Maybe the video starts going viral and everyone's like, hey, actually, this is so illegal. And she maybe starts freaking out and decides, I'm going to not flee, but take a little vacation. She was arrested at Heathrow Airport in London. She's facing life in prison. Yeah.
Wow. How?
For misconduct in a public space, like misconduct in a public agency, because she works for the government. It's highly doubted she'll get life in prison, but I think that this charge, there's no specific charge for the specific crime that she committed. So this is the overall charge that it could fit into. She is out on bail, but she came onto Instagram to post. Hello once again, Instagram. I hope you can appreciate this is going to be a very awkward and uncomfortable conversation for me to have. I just thought I really needed to come on here and clarify a few things. First thing being, there have been a lot, and I mean a lot, a tremendous amount of fake profiles of me that have been monetizing off of my misfortune and scandal that the entire world has somehow managed to be involved in. I have not monetized one fucking bit at all. This is my only social media platform and I only just activated it again. So if you come across fake profiles of me asking for money, please don't fall for it. On the topic of impersonation, I thought it'd be very important for me to address this very distasteful subject of OnlyFans creators impersonating me. So after this video went viral, a lot of OF creators started doing prison videos, but not actually in prison, like on sets. Some of them would look like Linda or try to dress like Linda and act like that was Linda's full unreleased.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. She said, pretending to be me and recreating the scenario of said scandal, which I am involved in. Very, very distasteful for you to monetize or advertise yourself as me for OF content. And lastly, I wanted to tell you that all of you do not know my side of the story. The media has a great way of getting the narrative, twisting it for their benefit. It states that she agreed to film the video because she's claiming the inmates had found out about her other explicit videos and they were going to make it known to the other inmates that she was filming those types of videos, which normally I might be able to understand this type of motivation and feeling of being blackmailed. There have been reports from other prison guards, female prison guards specifically, that if you give any bit of personal information or if inmates find out about it, they will try to hold it over you. They will try to hold it over you to get sexual favors, to get you to smuggle in phones, whatever it may be. They'll try to blackmail you and try to ruin your life. You feel trapped. But I'm not sure that this was that situation at all. She was on the show Open House. I'm pretty sure her OnlyFans was pretty public. I think everyone knew what she was doing in her free time. If the inmates find out, I don't think it's some crazy secret she needs to keep. There's also a lot of questions about how she was even hired, considering she allegedly had a public Facebook post with a caption that read, "What's your type? For me, bandits, outlaws, and criminals." She is currently out on bail, conditional bail, so she's being heavily monitored until her sentencing in November, where she does, in fact, face life in prison. And that is the case of Linda DeSouza.